Hello, my name is Benjamin Johnston, and I'm here in Houston, Texas. I'm delighted to welcome you into my home. Come on this way. My name is Benjamin Johnston, and I am a designer based here in Houston, Texas, with an architecture and interiors practice. We work all over the world, and we've worked everywhere from LA to London to Mexico, and we really enjoy what we're able to create for and with our clients. This project really started with us acquiring the land. When we found this lot in a historic area of the Heights, Houston, we really used our home as a laboratory to show off what our architecture and design team could do, challenging ourselves to do things that our clients might not necessarily allow us to do because it was too visually daring or because it was too expensive to pull off. And we had a lot of fun not only designing it, but then also constructing it as well. This home is inspired by Hollywood Regency, which is a design movement that I hold near and dear to my heart. It references the Regency period of the late 1800s, early 1900s. It also references Art Deco influences from the 1920s and 30s, and then of course the mid-century 1960s and 70s influence as well. We approached the architecture of the house to be very classic and curated. Then we really infused it with a lot of personality with our modern art collection and furnishings. We always use certain words to describe our work. We always say it's got to be classic, it's got to be curated, and it's got to be very cool. One of our clients also described our work as being very intentional. We really do think through every little aspect of the design to make sure it's a really beautiful storytelling experience. I think clients hire our firm because we're known for excellence. Whether we're doing architecture or interiors, we bring excellence not only in the design, but also in the service that we provide our clients. We are adept at full-scale architecture and interiors. We call it total architecture. We decided to add architecture to our list of services probably about 5 years ago, and it was a really organic outgrowth of what our clients were asking for us to do. We'd always done interior design with a focus on architecture and crafting the space around our clients and personalizing it through the architectural shell. So when it came to kind of making the leap and saying, you know what, we are capable of doing ground up construction and doing significant remodels, it was really an opportunity that felt very natural for us to grow into that realm of services. Here in our entryway, we have a gorgeous light fixture from Studio Glustine out of Paris, and it's just a really, really beautiful, unique piece that I absolutely love and really creates a statement from the moment you walk in the door. Overscaled over this fantastic foyer table by Cachet, and it is a reproduction of a piece that was originally part of the Helena Rubinstein estate. And so it's just a really beautiful piece with the brass in the mirror and the Eglantine top. This entire room has been paneled with fluting. I absolutely love the way it turned out. We spent a lot of time to make sure that the fluting starts at one whole flute and even ends in a perfect flute at the corner. And then same thing on all the different portals into the various spaces in our home. So it took a lot of time and attention to make that detail possible. Welcome into our very special lounge. I'm super excited about this space. It's one of my favorite spaces in the house, and I'm delighted to share it with you. This lounge was really entirely designed around this fabulous painting by Israeli artist Gilad Efrat. And we actually saw this painting when we were in Israel. It just so happened it became available and we purchased it, and we based the entire color scheme of this room around that painting. It has the incredible, beautiful blues and yellows, and this painter has a really interesting way of sculpting through paint. So he does layers and layers of paint, and he sculpts away and revealing different colors along his journey through the piece. To complement this, we actually used Sherwin-Williams 9185 Mareja Baja as the paint color, and it just bathes the entire room in a beautiful kind of rich blue-green that I absolutely love, and it is just a really special space in our home. This is called the Gaia sofa, and this is one of my all-time favorite pieces that I've designed that is this incredibly comfortable, lounging, curved sofa that sits like a traditional sofa. I just absolutely love the sinuous curves, and I love it in this gorgeous off-white fabric. Another really special piece in this room is actually this coffee table by Jan de Savage. He's a Belgian artist who utilizes brass and sodalite and resin to create this incredible vortex coffee table. It's a really an artisan-made piece that I absolutely adore. And it sits on top of one of my rugs from Madison Lily Rugs. So I love the way that this rug kind of ombres diagonally. So it progresses from that kind of same blue-green color that's on the walls all the way to black here in the corner. We found these fantastic vintage dongia chairs and had it upholstered in this gorgeous leather. A special feature in this room are these gorgeous bookshelves that we have displayed our collection of antique Lotz glass. It's a Czechoslovakian maker of art glass, and I just love the way it shimmers with all the lighting we brought into this room. So we have the beautiful LED concealed lighting on each shelf, and then above us we have this beautiful library light that sits above, mounted to the wall, and it kind of casts light all the way down the front of the bookshelf. And this particular light is from Visual Comfort. Let me introduce you to my favorite pet. He is very well behaved. He never barks. He doesn't even need to be let out to use the restroom. I mean, he's kind of the perfect pet. Come on with me into the heart of our home, which is this beautiful atrium space. It is flooded with natural light and can be really sectioned off from the front entry of the house through these gorgeous portiere curtains that we've done out of Holland and cherry wool and a beautiful trim along the leading edge. Come on this way. In the center of the space, we have a fantastic little sociable, or a modern interpretation of a sociable. When we're entertaining, this piece really serves multi-functions. It can be sat on to face either the kitchen or into the living room. And if you have a cocktail in your hand, you can put it on one of my bonito tables. Welcome to our family room. This space is a large space and it has various seating pieces. But the thing that I'm also really excited about is its view to the outside. The incredible bronze sculpture sitting above our pool is from French artist Jacques Lebescond, and it's a solid bronze, and then actually the faces move kinetically. So it's a really great piece to have in your yard. Here in our space, we have a variety of furniture. A lot of it is pieces that I've designed, either as one-offs or also as part of my collection with Chaddock Furniture. You can see this gorgeous sofa sectional that is called the Bruno sectional. We've done it in some great performance fabric, so as we are entertaining in the space, we're never worried about it. And this fabric is the latest in fiber technology. It's called a Q2 fabric, and you can literally pour nail polish all over this and get the nail polish out of this fabric. So again, great performance, allows us to have a more casual lifestyle in this space. We also have these great little cuff tables that we designed as part of that collection, and this incredible side table piece that is rounded so you don't end up hurting yourself by running into it as you walk around the piece. In this space, we also have another great artist. We have a piece by Alex Kallenberg that is 11 feet long and 7 feet tall. It's a massive piece of art. And he's a street artist based in California, and he does these kind of really beautiful paintings that I really enjoy. And you can see it right above our sofa. We've also got a mix of new and vintage pieces of lighting. So we have these great little table lamps that were designed by Kelly Wersler for Visual Comfort. We also have this incredible mobile light fixture from John Pomp, which is above us. And then we have some great vintage sconces that you can see on either side of the painting. Coming into our kitchen is a really dramatic space. This was a particular kitchen that we didn't have the benefit of having a window in. And so we utilized a very large window that's in our family room and the skylight that's above us to flood the space with natural light. In addition to that, we really added in lots of layers of architectural and decorative lighting into our kitchen. The entire kitchen is a U shape, and it's all centered around this gorgeous island we designed for the space. And it was really inspired by an old altar that you might see in a church. So you'll see it has an incredible fluted base, and it has this massive marble top that seems to kind of cantilever out at all angles and float above the herringbone floor. So a really unique feature in the space. You will also notice that it's made out of Nero-Marquina stone, and a lot of people will see all the stone on the island and on the backsplash and on the countertops, and they'll say, oh my gosh, you must never use your kitchen because I never see any stains on your kitchen counters. The truth is that we have this marble treated with the latest material treatment technology, and what they do is they grind down the stone, they put a resin product on the stone, and they use a black light to cure it. And this makes it completely stain-proof and etch-proof from any of the kind of household items that might cause that. You can spill pasta sauce all over this, you can spill red wine all over this, and you still have a gorgeous looking countertop. In order to keep this symmetrical, we have balanced the wine fridges and beverage fridges on that side with these large 36-inch column refrigerators. That is refrigerator on the right and freezer on the left. It provides a lot of great storage for your produce as well as for any of the other things like your white wine that you're wanting to keep super chilled. On our way back to the catering kitchen, I want to show you also another little jewel box space. So we actually have our pantry right here between the kitchen and the catering kitchen, and we've utilized this fun Ansax tile here on the floor. And I love the way it plays with the green on the cabinetry, as well as this fantastic gilded paper that's from Carlisle collection, and it's just such a great mix of materials. When we're entertaining and we're wanting to keep the main kitchen kind of spot free, we'll come back into the catering kitchen, and this really allows us to do any of the prep work that we need to do here in this space without making a mess. Whereas the main kitchen is light and bright, we wanted to go dark and sexy here in the catering kitchen. We started really as inspiration with this gorgeous tile. This is called the Katia mosaic, cube mosaic from Ansax. And I love the way it almost has this optical illusion here on the floor. And we use that as inspiration for our countertop selection as well as our wall stones. So we use this incredible granite. This is actually granite, although it looks like a panda marble, and it's completely etch and stain resistant. One of the other fun things that we did was in our backsplash, we hid all of our plugs. So you actually have 6 convenience plugs that are here in the backsplash, and they've been faux painted in order to just blend away. So we're here on the 2nd floor of our home, and I am delighted to share with you our primary bedroom. Come on with me. One of my favorite pieces in this bedroom is this art from Shozu Nagano. This is actually a painting from the 80s, and I love the kind of sculptural shape of the canvas. And I also really love this piece by Benny Katz, which has this kind of subtle, supple curves. It's a kind of a wall sculpture as well, and I just love the dimension it provides to the room. Another of my favorite pieces is actually this daybed that I designed for Chaddock. It's called the Marco daybed. I was really having such trouble finding an interesting daybed that could fit at the end of a bed or in a hallway or even a living room. And what I love about it is that we kind of tectonically pulled it apart. So you have these kind of floating arms to the side and a floating back, and it has these 4 sexy shoulders that kind of peek out at all 4 corners. And I love to say that when used in a bedroom, if you're a pet owner, it is like the world's most luxurious dog bed. So it's a really fantastic piece for a lot of different types of spaces. This piece behind me is from artist Cecil Touchon. It's a great piece for a bedroom. And a lot of times people are surprised that we put some fine art in our bedroom, but I always think that you should enjoy art where you live. We're happy to live with art even in what many people would consider a secondary space. We've even put art in our bathrooms and our water closets. Art is everywhere, and it's a really fun thing to surprise people with when they see it for the first time. I really enjoy revealing our primary bathroom. It's completely monochromatic, but still incredibly exciting. So I'm gonna open up these doors like I do for our guests and reveal the primary bathroom. In this space, we really designed it around this incredible mosaic that you can see on the floor. And it's made out of 3 different tones of marble. And it's again, a collaboration that we did with Ansax. So we sent them our floor plan. And then they did a first pass at laying out the tile, and then we fine-tuned the arrangement until we got the perfect design that really speaks to all the different programmatic areas in the room. So when we laid out this bathroom, we laid it out with two kind of lavatories on either side, split by the window and this gorgeous tub in front of it. And then opposite that, we have our curbless shower. So this floor pattern seamlessly blends into the shower. And then on either side, we have two water closets, and one of them has one of my favorite things, which is a urinal. Our primary suite flows organically from the bedroom into the bathroom, and then finally here into the closet. We custom designed this closet to really be a way of keeping organized and getting ready for our days. Instead of having all of our clothing on display, we opted for more of a wardrobe design. All of our clothes kind of sits behind all of these great panels where we have all of our clothes just kind of very cleanly organized. So on all of these closet doors, we actually inset wall covering. So we have this gorgeous Philip Jeffries wall covering set into the paneling and fantastic hardware as well. And as you open up this particular wardrobe, you can see our shoes, and it's a great way of keeping them clean and organized and dust-free by having them behind the wardrobe doors. Another of our favorite features is these valet hooks. We've designed valet hooks throughout the entire closet, and it allows me to, when I'm picking out an outfit, I can pick out my jacket, I can pick out my shirt, I can pick out my pants, and I can kind of see it assembled as an outfit right there on the hooks. And we've done these valet hooks kind of around the entire closet. Another fun detail that we added was this gorgeous polished stainless steel air register. So in many cases throughout their home, we've done a linear slot diffuser, but to add some character and some charm, there are certain spaces like this one where we've done these gorgeous polished stainless steel register grills. Gallery walls can always be tricky, but I always think that the style of the collection of pieces really dictates how you want to display them. In this particular case, because all of the size of the photographs were consistent, it really lent itself to doing a very grid-like arrangement of those pieces on this gallery wall. Rodney Smith was a New York photographer working primarily in the 80s and 90s, and he's really known for his almost surrealist style of black and white photography. The style of Rodney Smith's photography has really had a huge impact on creatives and directors. So you can see the influence of Rodney Smith and famous directors like Wes Anderson in some of his films, who is also a Houston native and who went to my high school. For all the main public spaces in our home, we really kept the palette quite neutral. However, in side spaces, which we can sometimes call our nighttime spaces, we really explored a lot of color. So here in the atrium, we kept everything very monochromatic, and it really creates this graphic Fornacetti-like quality. One of the things that we really want to impress upon people who come to our home is what the experience is like to live with modern art. And it doesn't just have to be kind of two-dimensional arts, paintings, photography. It can also be something sculptural. One of the other special artist installations that we have in our home is this fabulous sculpture by French artist John Cornu. We sourced this through a gallery in Germany, and we're so excited about the juxtaposition it provides between the very kind of buttoned up neoclassical architectural shell and this really modernist installation here on the wall. During the holidays, we get to take advantage of this huge 30-foot space here at the heart of our home, and we put a gorgeous Christmas tree that's nearly 14 feet tall right here in the center, and we cover it with chandelier parts. It's a really magical display. This room in our home was originally supposed to be our gym, but who wants to work out anyway? So we converted it to a library of sorts, and it houses all of our incredible art books that we've been collecting for many decades. What we have here is kind of a lounge area. It's really meant to kind of be able to sit and relax on one of my sofa designs and then be able to pull a book off the shelf and be able to put your feet up and again, get inspired. So that's really what this room is all about. We've also created this incredible impression of almost rusticated stone here on our walls using one of my wall covering designs for S. Harris. And it's a kind of a trompe-l'oeil. It looks like it is made out of grass cloth, but it's actually a printed design that really looks almost like straw marquetry as well. So I just love the impact that it gives to the space. Step into our laundry room, which is one of my favorite rooms in the house, mainly because I absolutely love the wall covering that we utilized on the wall, which is a Cole & Sons pattern called Miami. And I love its kind of MC Escher-like quality that speaks to the Ansax floor that we also put into this space. It has 3 tones of marble, and it's a really fun, unique pattern. Here on this side, we obviously have our area where we can do our hand washing, and then we have our washer dryer here on the other side. But it's a small, compact room, but still a lot of fun. I think the sum result of this home is a home that I really don't ever want to leave. I joked throughout this entire process that this was a house I was going to go out feet first. And it is a home that I still feel very confident I'm going to be in for all of my foreseeable future.
I would describe our design style as warm modern.
I'm the warm, he's the modern.
Right? So very warm and comfortable like Megan, but also modern and visually impactful. I always wanted to live in a glass house in the woods, mid-century modern furniture. And I've always looked at Megan as this fashionista. She's in the know of what's next and what's happening now, and that really has influenced me, and I've evolved to more softness. We are more known for neutrals and texture, and that's still what we respond to most positively.
And I think that's why people hire us for the most part. We have a studio, sharp furniture company in the neighborhood, and everything is very neutral in that space. And that's really so that the client can maybe see where their personality could be infused into that. My name is Megan Sharp.
I'm Patrick Sharp.
And I am the principal of Mr. and Mrs. Sharp.
And I'm the principal of Mr. and Mrs. Sharp.
We are based in Chattahoochee Hills, Georgia, south of Atlanta.
And in the community of Serenbe. Serenbe is a sustainable community in Chattahoochee Hills. We're about 45 minutes south of Atlanta. We're committed to developing only 30% of the actual natural landscape, and to do so responsibly. So all the homes are Earthcraft certified, and it's also a very design forward, very art-centric community. Serenbe came together with Rue Magazine and several sponsors to create this show house. And it's also a model home for Vincent Longo Custom Homes. It's a pretty modern structure. It's quite boxy, and we love a clean lined house. Oak floors, incorporated curves as much as we could. So you'll see curves in the fireplace, the hood of the kitchen to soften things up a little bit. Different types of marble, from the furniture to the countertops. All the bathrooms are clad in beautiful Ansax tile. Welcome to Rue House. We're entering on the terrace floor, but we wanted to make sure you didn't feel like you were walking into a basement. So we really wanted to make it special and design forward. So this Mod Moda tile, it's a Mod Moda mosaic by Ansax, really fits the bill, so impactful. We love the gray and the white. We also did a white oak paneling behind us, and all the way up the staircase we have this great sculpture by local artists Rachel Garceau and Christine Genet. I love this art from Patrick Brian Johnston, also a Serenbe artist. And then we have this great drop zone, kind of a mudroom over here. It's just this nice little niche under the staircase that we were able to continue the Mod Moda mosaic, and we added this Philip Jeffries wallpaper. We love to mix patterns in playful areas like this. Welcome to the rec room or family room. It's on the terrace level. We wanted it to be light and bright and fun. So we have this ping pong table, big sectional, plenty of club chairs, and there's this kitchenette over here or wet bar. Has some extra wine storage. The Savoy Circle Ansax tile that we have on the back wall. I love it layered with the brass shelving that we have. It goes all the way from the countertop to the ceiling. It's kind of acting like a wallpaper.
We have a really special wine storage area. It is iron and glass. And typically when you see an enclosure like this, it's a black iron color, but we decided to go a little bit lighter with it and do something a little bit different. So we have this light gray with the glass, and we also coordinated that paint color to go with the ping pong table.
Love having a ping pong table in a rec room, especially if it looks like this. This is a really special custom piece from Venture Games. It's a local company, and they were able to paint it our shade of white and our shade of gray. So we love this thing. So a lot of comfortable furniture in this room. We really like the neutral tones. I love this big gray cashmere stripe down this wing chair. It kind of gives a modern element to this more traditional silhouette. Every family room needs a nice comfortable sectional. Love this stone table, talking about bringing those natural elements. All right, let's go upstairs. And so our staircase has the wood paneling, and then we're in our living room. Large enough for 2 different seating areas. So we have back-to-back universal furniture sofas, ample chairs for large parties. Again, we have our natural elements with marble tables, and I love the textural rugs in here. I think the rugs are from Loloy, is that right?
Yeah, it just adds another good foundation, warm element, lots of texture.
And you can sit here, enjoy your beverage, and enjoy a roaring fire. Also in this room, this window over here opens up to the entire outside. It's best of both worlds, indoor-outdoor living. We have 2 different sectionals out here, both from our house. All the outdoor furniture for the home was for our house.
So welcome to the main kitchen. What we love about this kitchen is this huge island. It's perfect for parties. And we wanted to highlight this beautiful stone. It is Calcutta Fantastico from Ann Sachs. It is a full slab of thin stone, and we like how modern it is with the thinness. This island, you could host a party, you could have a buffet. It is really functional. We have this beautiful Brizo pull-down faucet and the accompanying pot filler for pasta night, maybe. And then we continued the slab of the Calcutta Fantastico on the wall for the backsplash.
Other notable things about the kitchen is the signature kitchen suites package that we have. So we have this beautiful range. I love this plaster hood above with the curves that go all the way around the back. Really adds a lot of warmth to this space. Not just the shape, but the plaster too. The custom cabinetry is by Bell Cabinetry here in Atlanta. Love this door style. That door style continues on the refrigerator and the freezer.
It's nice that people can come from the living room, get a drink, not be in the kitchen in the way of whoever's cooking.
Absolutely, and this has the same Calcutta Fantastico that's in the kitchen, and it has a waterfall edge too. Cheers.
Cheers.
The backsplash here is Ann Sachs Savoy. I think it's called a small stack, and it's kind of serving as a wallpaper again behind these brass floating shelves.
And this is yet again another opportunity for your glassware, just easy to access with the open shelves. It's very clean with the glass, and I think it's just really special. We have these panel ready refrigerators here. They're perfect for extra wine or extra drinks that are just keeping chilled here. There's 2 of these right underneath each other. And then over on this side is the ice machine, also panel ready. So we are in the dining room, and this is an art installation by Christine Genet. She uses wood veneers that she's ribboned around, and she also uses natural clays and elements that she finds just in the soil here around the neighborhood in Serenbe. And it just turned out really beautiful. It really does add so much character to the room. I love these chairs from Universal. They have casters on them, so for dining, it's perfect to go in and out. And they're also a performance fabric, so very comfortable, just very easy, perfect for big dinner parties. This is the main entrance hall, and we have a piece of art by Patrick Johnston. We did a little dark moment here of a high gloss paint with some millwork. We have an artist featured in here. His name is Thomas Johnston. He uses a lot of silver leaf, gold leaf. It just kind of brightens up the place, adds a little sparkle. The Arabescato Corsia countertop from Saks. On top of the bell cabinetry underneath, it has touch latch doors. No hardware.
And I was going to show you one of 4 guest rooms. This one is painted Sherwin-Williams, I think it's called Cyberspace. And we have a nice king-size bed in here, really cozy room. Another piece by Patrick Brian Johnson, ample lighting from Regina Andrews. And I'd like to show you this great ensuite bathroom. It doesn't have any windows, but you'd never miss it because of the impact of Lisboa Diamante from Saks. The tile is used on all of the walls, all of the dry walls. We kind of use it as wallpaper. And we have the Arabescata Corsia and more Saks tile in the shower and the herringbone on the floor. We're on our way to the primary suite. We have more Patrick Brian Johnson hanging in the hallway, and then we're going to enter into the primary bathroom. Really beautiful marble bathroom. We have Bianca Gioia on the floors and on the walls, and a slab countertop, custom cabinetry by Bell Cabinetry.
I love how thick it is.
I love the mitered edges to make it look like such a huge chunk of marble.
Then this is the fluted tile. It's like our favorite thing in the whole house. It's Terrazzo Renato from Saks. We absolutely adore it. It just feels so good in here, and I wish I could take a bath in this tub. It's so good.
It does work beautifully with the marble. We also carried it into the shower.
You can have a party in the shower.
It's true. So again, the Gioia on the wall, the Renata also comes in a mosaic that we have on the floor and the ceiling. Now we're going to show you the primary bedroom. We have this beautiful fuzzy bed from Universal Furniture. Again, we carry the white oak slat walls in here for warmth, and this beautiful light fixture from Regina Andrews. My favorite feature of the primary suite is you have your own entrance to this beautiful backyard and pool area.
Wait for it. This is quite possibly my favorite part of the house. Walking up these teak stairs, we have the pool. There's a pool deck here that's a little bit more shallow where we have some lounge chairs. The deeper section up front here. And then across the way, there's another teak deck with a day bed, perfect place to lounge, relax, get some sun.
Multiple seating areas outside, so your little coffee nook off the primary. There's a dining room, there's a living room, there's a fireplace here. We got the Tennessee stone everywhere and a limestone terrace floor.
So we're really happy with the way this house came together and turned out. I really enjoy coming into an empty, beautifully well-designed, finished home that Patrick has created and add the warm textures of the rugs, the furniture, the accessories, artwork, bring new energy to the home. Once you add those final touches, it does really feel finished.
We accomplished what we set out to do by creating this warm home. It feels like it's got some wow factor to it. I'm very happy with the result.
Clients would describe our work as being refined and sophisticated, but unassuming, not in a way that is unapproachable. People refer to us as sort of dark and moody, but with an elegance that comes with that. I think people hire us because they see our retail store and that sort of inspires and helps them to understand our aesthetic. A lot of our clients come from our retail shop. So I opened Dixon Rye 8 years ago. Part of what I love about what we do is I'm able to do product design, I'm able to do interior design, and then my true passion of being a shop owner. And one of the things that I've sort of grown into over the years is the ability to travel the world and curate an assortment for the shop that is then later articulated into a customer's home. My name is Bradley Odom, and I am an interior designer and shop owner here in Atlanta, Georgia. We are in the beautiful Buckhead neighborhood of Atlanta, Georgia. We chose this project to showcase today because we think it really encompasses everything that we do. So there are pieces we designed, incorporated, our beautiful mix of fabrics, of texture and pattern, the location, really everything about this house sort of encompasses what we are and what we do within the firm. The homeowner of this project was really looking for someone to sort of come in with a new vision and a new idea for what the home could be. That with the busy lifestyle of a real estate developer, but with 3 young kids, they wanted it to be a place where they could raise their family, but also be able to entertain clients when needed. And I think when they reached out to us, they knew that we were able to sort of bring that sophistication and elegance in that unassuming way. When we started this project, our clients sort of had an initial vision of taking the existing home that was here and adding on to it and renovating it. So it really became a complete gut job. They moved in the house next door, and so we were sort of able to take this to the studs. And with Brendan's help, we sort of re-envisioned what it is today. Part of the beauty of working with an architect on this project was that we're able to really collaborate in a way that not just on the bones of the structure, but also where furniture would land and where things would lay out. Hi, welcome to this beautiful home. Come on in. Here we are in the entranceway of this home, where one of the pieces that we first found for this was before construction had even started. We were on one of our buying trips and found this really beautiful chest from the 20s and thought it would be sort of the hero of this space, and really has become that. We surrounded it with a heavily smoked antique mirror here, urban electric lighting, obviously a really beautiful antique rug. And we did lay the floors here on the diagonal. So sort of what you see a lot of times is a herringbone pattern or something like that. We just chose to go with a simple diagonal. And really, I think this becomes a space in this house that just feels inviting and welcoming, yet calming and sophisticated. We tend to incorporate a sort of an antique mirror, whether it be in something like a built-in like this with a beautiful grid pattern, or it be just decorative. This one is really heavily antiqued, which we liked for this space. It almost feels like art, but there are many ways to do this, from sort of a really light antiquing to this like heavily smoked. And you can do this too in sort of these silvery gray tones, or we've even done it in the past in sort of a bronzy gold tone. I didn't want it to feel like a mirror per se, as much as we did something that sort of felt like a wall covering. Here we are in the living room. One of the things I love about this room is I think it sets the tone for the whole house. From the colors to the patterns and the texture that's incorporated. One of the things you'll see here is we started with this rug. I love this graphic pattern of this Patterson Flynn Martin rug. And we were able to mimic the pattern on the ceiling in this space, which I think is really nice. We custom made the coffee table with a local craftsman. And then the chairs, of course, are from Dixon Rye. And this is sort of a chair that we use in a lot of our projects. Has a really beautiful profile, but doesn't take up a big footprint. And we love a sitting area like this, especially when the chair swivels. It can be where you just enjoy a warm fire or a cocktail. We custom made this mirror here. This thing is heavy, but I think really sort of adds almost like an industrial part, which for me is juxtaposed to this sort of traditional space we're in. The drapery in this room is probably one of my favorite we've ever done. And there's no tricky detail here in regard to trim or mixing fabrics, but the weight and the way this Schumacher fabric, it's a wool, but the way that this drapes is so beautiful and elegant. This is a piece that the homeowner had that's been passed down from generations. And we thought it was like the perfect spot to maybe just hide candles and things of that sort in here. We flanked it on each side with a beautiful ceramic piece from Michelle Kwan in Brooklyn. Some of the art incorporated into the space were things that the client owned that we were able to repurpose and reframe, but also mixed in with other art that we commissioned here in Atlanta with a local artist. The pieces over here, which I think sort of ground this side of the room so that both feel equally weighted, are from an artist in Texas, which I love the sort of simplistic but graphic moment you get here. One of the things we just love, and I incorporate into most all of our spaces as well as our retail store and even in my own home, is the Paul Schneider lamps. I think Paul really gets and understands proportions better than anyone who makes lamps, and they're just really beautiful, and you get to pick your glaze and color and sort of match it back to whatever you're doing. Two other things I think are important in this space is sort of this idea, when you really look at this sort of modern form of this milking stool, which becomes sort of a modern piece for this room, but then you juxtapose that to these lions that we found at the Paris flea market from the early 1900s. Just that whole juxtaposition of how that works together is sort of like our love language at Dixon Rye and things that we usually try to incorporate into rooms. When we think of a space with purpose and intention, it sort of becomes about the entire space, but also equally each individual element. Here, this room started with the rug. This beautiful piece from Patterson Flynn Martin, sort of a grid pattern, if you will. But we were like, how do we expand on that? And so for us, that became the opportunity to sort of this idea of like they were on top of each other, of the ceiling and the rug. And sort of this room evolved from that. But we took the rug pattern, sort of a tight grid, and deconstructed that with what I think, not a lattice work feel, but sort of that same grid pattern is reflected here on the ceiling. And then we took that a little further by adding the pop of color as well. Here we are in the dining room, probably my favorite room in the entire house other than the kitchen. You don't need art here because the wallpaper is the art. This is this beautiful Cowton and Tout paper that we decided to use here. And we really went back and forth and we tried art pieces in here, and it always just came back to like letting the wallpaper be the art. And I think that's what happened here. Custom-made dining table that is able to add leaves to for when they're really entertaining with a large crowd. And we kept it very simple. A sculpture that is from Dixon Rye. Again, we incorporate a lot of these into our projects as well as my own home. The chairs here are all from Dixon Rye and Lancaster, and one of the things I love about them is this really beautiful pleat detail that we do on the back here in this really rusty colored luxe velvet. The drapery here is sort of taking that same idea that we used in the other room, but this is linen with this really incredible trim detail that sort of frames up this entire space. We didn't really want your traditional buffet in terms of doors, but it felt like we could still get some storage in here as well as have a surface for hors d'oeuvres or buffet, whatever the occasion is. And we sort of love this idea of flanking it on one end. I think the sort of traditional expected thing to do is to take this buffet style lamp from Visual Comfort and flank it on both ends. I love them sort of pushed over here to create this sort of artistic moment. It's a custom made piece from Dixon Rye. We sell this daily with, one-sided as a chest, but we thought we loved the fluted design and we were able to sort of basically double the chest into this sort of dresser style that I think just sort of sinks in here to the wallpaper and to the room. So it's not a flashy sort of moment, but sort of just a subtle, really beautiful design piece. Here we are in the powder room of the main level, and it's like a big pop of color, which we love. As you come in, you'll find this sort of like blushy pink. We started here with the wallpaper, this beautiful Kelly Wearstler graphic pattern. We custom designed the vanity with this sort of like marble, again, sort of taking the idea of the top and incorporating it on the bottom. And really beautiful details in here. We love this Urban Electric sconce. And then again, the homeowner's art, which they have a extensive collection of really beautiful pieces that we've sort of moved throughout the house. And then the ceiling detail here, I think is really nice because a lot of times I think the ceiling goes forgotten. And here you want to automatically look up and see what's happening here. So one of the challenges of a powder room when it opens up to this great outdoor space outside is it has to function. So you need some level of privacy here. For softness as well as privacy, we made this beautiful Roman shade in this gorgeous linen and then taped it off with a sort of contrasting tape here, which allows you for the privacy you need as well as some softness in here. The kitchen for us is sort of the gift that keeps giving. It was published nationally in Traditional Home, and since then we've had countless phone calls and Instagram DMs and just comments about the color and how beautiful it is. And so it's this Faro and Ball green smoke, and it really was informed from the property here. There's a pond outside the window that sort of reflect each other and complement each other in a way that creates this level of beauty that I think you see here. And in a time where there are a lot of white kitchens, we sort of took the opportunity to do something different and to sort of make a statement here. This kitchen looks as good now as it's going to in 10 years. It feels timeless, it feels classic, but yet sort of putting the gas to the pedal a little bit on innovation. The kitchens are a place in the home where I feel like they can start to be cluttered with your spices and all of those things. So we spent a lot of time on this particular kitchen with ensuring that things could easily be put away, from sort of the garage compartments that everyone loves for your toaster and your coffee. So those sort of flank this area here. We made sure that we had places for your sponges with these, little tucked away compartments here under the sink. One of the frustrations in my own home is the sink doesn't quite slope as much as it should. And I have found over the years that clients are very passionate about their sink. And I think a lot of times they are pieces that you think are just like really easy to spec, but the slope has to be right, and incorporating the perfect slope line and a corner drain and things that like just make your life easier in a kitchen like this are really important. We tucked away even the paper towels here, which I think is a really nice element to ensure again that like all the things are sort of like away when you're not using them. Of course, we incorporated a Wolf range. Some of the best appliances are throughout the house, from the panel-ready refrigerator, Sub-Zero, of course. And one of my other favorite elements in this house is the pantry. Where is it? It's here, tucked away behind this door. So 2 entrances into the pantry here and on the other side. Right off of this beautiful kitchen is this really glamorous and sort of luxe feeling wet bar. Tucked away, but still sort of open. I would call it semi-private space. And this is where the magic happens in terms of making the cocktails and the afternoon beverage. And we did this in a high gloss Ferro and Ball studio green. And one of the things I love about it is it incorporates everything from coffee to fridge. Ice is built in here. And then you have drawers for storage, as well as upper cabinets to really display all your beautiful glassware. One of the challenges of this room was that there was a window that looks to outside, which is really great because it really gives you this beautiful perspective of the nature surrounding the home. But we really wanted the symmetry here, so we couldn't put a window here because behind here is the stairwell. So we sort of did a faux window with this mirror, which again, I think adds to the luxe and the glamour of the space because it gives you the reflection. Here we are in the keeping room, which is probably the most casual room of the house. It's the place where you're lounging and you're watching television, someone's in the kitchen cooking. So sort of that comfortable after work, lounging and sort of watching television space here, but some really beautiful details. One of my favorite chairs to put in projects is the Blake chair from Varellin, available at Dixon Rye. I just love the modern curves of this. Of course, it swivels, again, juxtaposed to this antique rug, and right off of the breakfast nook with the table and chairs that the client already owned, but I think work perfectly in this space. And we purposely left all the windows on this side of the house untreated so that you really can take in all that nature. But in the keeping room here, we did incorporate these beautiful shears to sort of frame up this glass and steel door. Super lightweight, unlined, and I just think it adds a nice frame, and it's on a track, which makes it super easy to close off if you want a little more privacy. It's a great space that feels open, and I feel like it's really just an extension of the kitchen. Right off of the keeping room is this beautiful outdoor space where we custom made pillows, and a lot of the furniture we incorporated from the client's previous home, but it's all screened in, and you've got your fireplace and your TV all overlooking the beautiful pond. Just a really great space, especially in the spring and in the fall of Atlanta, which can be really gorgeous. I love the space, and I think it's just adds a whole nother level of comfort and casualness to the house. Before headed to the primary bedroom, we're gonna pop into the study here and take a look. Here, it was all about warmth and cocooning. A space where you could, yes, enjoy some work at your desk, or sit and read a book, have a cocktail. There are not a lot of pieces in here, but the pieces are powerful. So custom-made desk from B10 here in Atlanta. Artwork that is like such a statement piece, sold through Dixon Rye. Jim Thompson wallpaper, which I think really gives it that warmth. And then the really nice Holland and Sherry Roman shade. So you'll see that we use Roman shades a lot to sort of soften a space, and I think that this does a nice job of that here. We sort of took the trim and used a color that we use in Dixon Rye a lot, Hague blue from Ferro and Ball. Just a really nice, beautiful blue that I love to incorporate into a lot of our projects. As we head into the primary bedroom, we have this nice little vestibule of a moment here where we just took an opportunity to highlight some art that is owned by the client, along with some found pieces. I love a dark and moody bedroom. Without the use of wallpaper or fabric, the paint just gives you this sort of like envelops you into this bedroom, makes for a nice calming place to sleep. all custom-made bedding, and this is a bed that I designed called the Montgomery that I have in my own home, and this is made by Varellin. All the art the client had, we just reframed it and sort of repurposed it. And we have an Italian mirror here above the fireplace in this little sitting area that I found in the south of France. Again, swivel chairs for that nice moment where you just want to put your feet up by the fire, maybe have your coffee in the morning. Custom-made pillows with this beautiful Deidar fabric, visual comfort lamps, and then this gorgeous Schumacher fabric, which we sort of like carried around the corner of this space overlooking the swimming pool. We make a lot of our pottery in Morocco, and we have this series of pottery that we open the store with called Tadlock. And the vases have always been extremely popular for the shop, but a few years ago we decided to try some new forms, and so I designed what we called the bulb because we knew that we wanted to make it into lamps. And it's interesting because the Tadlock lamp now seems to find its way somewhere in every project, but the proportions are again great, super affordable, and just a really nice, easy lamp to incorporate. And here we sort of flanked each side of the bed with that. For anyone looking to get into antiquing, one of the things that I find is, yes, I love to peruse, whether it's a local flea market or whether it's the south of France. I love to just sort of peruse with this idea of like just letting something find me. But sometimes I do have a mission. That's what antiquing is it is really about finding something that matters and the story behind it and how you feel passionate about it, because then I feel like you're really able to sort of pass that heritage and those stories on to other people. The primary bath, just a gorgeous, serene space overlooking the swimming pools. I think the idea of this sort of free-floating bathtub and being here in the evening overlooking the bathtub is just such a beautiful moment. We flanked this window with a very lightweight linen from Schumacher, and then these are those subtle details that we incorporate in with this contrasting tape. Beautiful visual comfort lights, as well as all the hardware from Matthew Quinn here in Atlanta, who just does a beautiful job, and really gorgeous brass details of the faucets here, but lots of tucked away storage even here on the sides, these little drawers, and then, you know, all of the typical vanity space that you find. We incorporated this gorgeous antique rug that we found on one of our trips. I think it's a really nice way, again, of that thread connecting the bedroom to this more sort of white and light and airy bathroom. As you pass through here, you have this really sweet spot for your makeup or vanity area. Really great tile detail in here that you see, where we sort of did this trim piece around the center with this bull nose. Is a full steam shower, so that was very important to the client, but really gorgeous space. And then to the sort of private quarters of your custom closet. The end result of this project is the fact that I want to come back here so often. This is a home that I think most people I know would love to be a part of, and I love coming back to visit. Regardless of what room you're in this home, there's sort of this level of curiosity that happens with some of the pieces throughout. I just think everything sort of comes back to like, this was a purposeful and intentional design.
People would typically describe our work as being a very broad range. We really try to gauge every single project and design it specifically for the client. In all of our projects, we're incredibly detail-oriented. The smallest details make the biggest impact. Scale, balance. We are not afraid to use bold color or mix patterns, mix finishes. Being from New Orleans, I always try to sneak a gas lantern in there somewhere. Eddie Maestri. I'm an architect and designer with Maestri Studio Architecture and Interior Design. We're based in Dallas, Texas. We do projects all throughout North Texas. We have projects in Las Vegas right now, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and in New York. Today we are at my home in Dallas, Texas, Villa Cali. We had been looking for a new house for quite a while. We have twin boys who are now 9 years old. We found this house randomly on Trulia one day. The best part about it, it was completely untouched since it was built in 1971. And the biggest thing that we wanted to do was to pay homage to the original design intent. I started with images that I've saved for years, from publications, from Pinterest, from magazines, the things that we love. A lot of our existing furniture just seemed to fit exactly here, like it was always meant to be. This is our living room, so it's kind of a formal living room. Having kids, we really wanted a space that we could go to as adults and entertain. And we wanted a space that we could live in without a television. This room was perfect. You know, the volume of the room was just a really nice scale, the abundance of light. So we kept, for the most part, all of the original details throughout: the terrazzo, the rock fireplace, the original handrail. The kids will come in here and read, do their music lessons, and when we entertain, it's where everybody gathers. So we have another room upstairs, that's another family room, and that's an area where we will watch TV as a family. We'll do family game night. We'll occasionally eat up there in front of the TV. I wanted it to be a space that felt cozy, more inviting, a little bit more whimsy. Another low ceiling of 8 feet, so we did the high gloss lacquer on the ceiling in there as well. I wanted this space to feel cozy and inviting, and I really wanted to take advantage of the walls to display different art pieces that we've collected over the years. Some of it we collect on travels, and also little pieces that just are important to us. So of course you have to have a television in the space, and I really didn't like the way that just a regular television looks. So we incorporated the Samsung Frame TV and hung it on the wall, and it really still did not have the impact. So I found this clever add-on, which we bought on Amazon, which is a frame that just goes right over the television. And it actually sticks right on there with a magnet, and I think it makes it look exactly like the gallery wall we intended. For the dining room, I really wanted it to have a little bit of a throwback to New Orleans. It has this really big long wall that is on the front of the house, again with no windows. And I felt that the space, even though it was large, it felt somewhat confined and dark. So a solution for that space was to apply antique mirror across the entire wall. And we wanted to have the space feel more warm, so we hung art over the antique mirror. We have an original cove above the table that had these really old, gross lights in it. I did some wallpaper up there from Hagen West. We did a motif of birds and clouds, and I thought it'd be a really nice surprise. We use that light all the time. It almost feels like a skylight. We have a china closet, which we didn't even know existed the first few times we had been in the house. It has all the original cabinets in there with the hardware for storing things like plates, napkins, everything that you would otherwise need in a china cabinet, which I did not want. We did a super cool wallpaper by Pierre Frey of a beautiful crystal glassware throughout the space. I went through tons of 1970s kitchen design books. It's a lot of pattern on pattern on pattern, and I just decided to run with it. Love the volume of that space, very high ceiling, it's 11 feet. I wanted to wallpaper the cove with a Fornasetti paper that I've loved for years. We did a very sculptural island base peace and yellow, which is such a happy, fun color. And it really was a way to bring a pop of color in there that would be a good juxtaposition against all the existing walnut. We kept as much of the walnut as we could. We kind of reconfigured everything, and the goal was when it all got put back together, we wanted it to feel fairly original. For the breakfast room, we use daily, of course, for breakfast, and then, dinner as a family. The kids will do homework in there. It's one of the only rooms in the house with an 8-foot ceiling. So I decided to do a white lacquer on the ceiling to really reflect the light that comes in on both sides. A super shiny Italian tile on the floor, and then also bringing in the white lacquer table as well. The wallpaper was inspired by the original paper that was on the wall. It was a grass cloth. I didn't necessarily want grass cloth in there with kids and dirty hands, so we went with a paper that kind of paid homage to that original intent. When we renovated the home, we had original, just simple hollow core doors throughout, and I thought they were just absolutely terrible. So we knew we wanted to change the doors throughout the entire house. This is from True Style. It has a little bit of that 1960s, 70s vibe. I'm really big on texture, and this was absolutely perfect for the space. We did the door itself in a semi-gloss black to really highlight the design, and we think it was a really good addition to the home. So my office is probably the best view in the whole house. It was a space that originally was intended to be the kids' playroom. I vetoed that. I said, no, this is going to be my space. So I created what we call the studio. I can work in there, but it's also a space where the kids can feel at home enough to come in, do art projects, spread out on the floor. We have a wall unit in there that's full of vintage toys. So it's my office, but it's an area, for more creativity, so we call it the studio. So we are now in a room that we call the cabana. It's a sitting area that's right off the primary suite, and it overlooks the backyard with these floor-to-ceiling windows. Perfect spot for Texas when it gets too hot to really be outside and enjoy the area. So we wanted the room to feel very indoor-outdoor. I did the tinting on the ceiling to really kind of bring in the detail of the canvas awnings that we have outside, and also to tie in the black and white theme that we have on the hall ceiling. We also have the cabana drapery on the front porch. So it was a nice way to make the space feel a little bit more sophisticated, but also very indoor-outdoor. Because we have all these big windows on this side of the room, the rest of the room felt to me very off balance. So I wanted to do something that really felt more like a panorama without art. So we did this wall paneling detail. It has a little bit of a fun edge to it. Again, the space is a higher volume, so it kind of reminded me of growing up in New Orleans. I wanted it to feel a little bit more like an older house in here. So we did the wall paneling, and then I did the wallpaper mural on the inserts to give it the feel that the entire space was outdoors. The primary bedroom, when we first looked at the house, was an incredibly dark room, even though it's a very high ceiling and a large room in itself, but it was just very dark. So I did a mylar on the ceiling to basically give the room more volume. And there's a cove around the room that has LED lights in there. That was an opportunity to uplight that mylar to make it feel even larger, but also it was good lighting for watching a movie at night or waking up in the morning with nothing too harsh. We do have a set of sliding doors on the room, but they don't go wall to wall. So we did a creative solution there by installing wall-to-wall drapery to give it the illusion that there is wall-to-wall glass behind it. The primary bathroom was probably the most reconfigured area of the house. It was originally set up as 2 separate bathrooms with a sauna right in the middle. It felt very dark, almost like 2 hallways. So we opened the entire thing up. When we were doing a renovation, when we pulled off the old mirrors, we found this really funky 70s wallpaper that was green and white ferns. So that inspired us to do the dark green fernery wallpaper that's in there now. Kept with the overall design intent of the house of doing the lacquered ceiling in there as well. It has the white terrazzo floors. We were incredibly lucky that when we pulled up the walls that were dividing the space, the terrazzo was actually right below them. So we just had to refinish the floor and just kept it exactly intact. I think the end result of this project is a house that we just absolutely adore. We love being here. It's been perfect for entertaining, perfect for the kids to have friends over, and it's just a space we enjoy every day.
Studio Thomas James varies greatly. One thing that you're always going to see is a lot of attention to relating back to the architecture, a lot of work on the architecture in the very early stages of the project to sort of get the bones right. Scale and proportion are kind of the unifying elements that are always present in our project. I'm Philip Vanderford, the principal designer at Studio Thomas James. Our firm is based in Dallas, Texas, and we really do work all over the world. Today, we're at one of our clients' houses. The fun thing about this particular project, it's actually the 4th house that we've done for this particular client. But they needed like really casual places for the family to like have fun and that were indicative of their young children. But then they also needed their grown-up entertaining spaces and then transitional spaces that were for like just a casual evening. So we really had 3 sort of dynamics that we were working with in this house. The client has a great backdrop. They have a really, really deep and interesting collection of art. The house was really beautiful when we first installed, but it's just kind of this continued evolution that's really, really makes this particular project, I think, special. We were able to change some things about the architecture, detailing both on the interior and the exterior that made it really specific to their needs. You actually see the entry from the street. So we wanted a piece of art here that really gave a lot of power. And so we ended up finding this Donald Martini piece that was in a really bright, saturated red. We created this wall-hung console that we executed in marble. And then we had a local rug maker here do a custom rug for us in a complementary black and white motif. So for the living room, we primarily were going for like an adult entertainment space. Iconic modern pieces mixed in with custom to get the exact scale right. And then we also mixed in art and sculptural pieces as well. A Ralph Lauren piece that's done in unlacquered brass, and it has a deep ink colored navy. Custom walnut cocktail tables that we made just to get the scale perfect for the space. And then we also had the same manufacturer make a custom walnut credenza. We've also kind of mixed in iconic modern pieces, a beautiful print done by a British photographer that's kind of a playful moment in the room. For the dining room in this home, we wanted to bring some pieces over from their previous home. And so we actually had done this burl dining table for a previous residence. The Trove wallpaper, it's a really bold statement in the room. And then also with the contemporary hand-done lighting. And so we really loved how this was an opportunity to mix some like vintage finds with new pieces. For the kitchen of this project, one of the main focal points is this beautiful Anne Sachs parquet mosaic that we installed, took it all the way to the ceiling, eliminated the sort of expected upper cabinetry and replaced that with really strong, vibrant art pieces. Really made it a space that doesn't just scream kitchen. And also, you know, it's a wonderful moment because you do spend so much time in the kitchen. We love the idea of giving you, beautiful art as opposed to all cabinetry. And then in order to make this kitchen very functional, we sort of did this large wall of all of our sort of like function and storage and all of that sort of hidden and very secondary. And it allows you to really focus on the beautiful tile and the beautiful art. We actually did these built-in pieces with self-returning swivels. So it's actually keeps the kitchen looking perfect at all times. And they're a really big, generous scale that kind of counterbalances the large scale of the island. And so they're extremely comfortable. So this has become a favorite spot. Classic modern dining table in that, and is really played off well by this new installation of this apparatus fixture. So we actually have an important Richard Serra piece. It's not hidden in the gallery where you're not all the time. It's, you know, very front and center. And we also incorporated some beautiful Holly Hunt upholstery, which again may not be the innate knee-jerk reaction for sort of a casual lounge area, but we thought it was really, really beautiful, and we love the idea that this gets used every day. Welcome to the bar. The clients do a ton of entertaining. So we wanted a really strong, durable countertop material, and then we also wanted something elevated for the bar that had a lot of interest, but that also performed really well. So we went with this Art Deco inspired glazed porcelain by Anne Sachs. And because it being a glazed porcelain, it's extremely durable, but still has this really rich black and gold appeal. And it was such a beautiful backdrop for the contemporary graffiti art. For the office, in this instance, both clients work from home quite a bit. So we needed a space that was beautiful, but that was also quite functional. So we did custom built-ins that we created that complement the desk, that are packed full of sort of that everyday storage. And we actually had found an antique desk that was not quite the right scale and proportion for the space. So we actually custom made this particular desk based on that style and came up with something really, you know, beautiful, dramatic, and still made it functional for their needs. This color is Nightfall by Benjamin Moore. And the high gloss lacquer allows you to take a space that, or take a color that's quite dark, but because of the gloss, it actually still has a lot of light and a lot of life. And you know, we were totally into the mix in this space. We have this, you know, hand knotted rug. We have a couple of vintage contemporary pieces. This is actually one of our most favorite spaces in the house. The homeowner really loves this space because with the opening of the doors, it just gives a great extension of the living space. And we furnished it with some beautiful Janus at Sea and Baker outdoor furnishings. We've incorporated these spun stools, little whimsical moment. We have this Twitter blue gorilla that's sort of a fun contemporary moment. So for the main powder bath, we started with this beautiful Anne Sachs mosaic. And with the scale of the space, we loved using something that was a little bit smaller and had a ton of visual impact. And we used that as a basis to create this custom wallpaper where we played with the scale of the fish and the color, and we sort of married those things together. Quite often playrooms are the last rooms that are thought of when it comes to design. The family really wanted a space that everybody could come together, and they wanted something that really felt well designed, but that also functions. We have tons of storage. We created this sectional out of indoor-outdoor fabric, so it's beautiful, but it also works really hard for them. For this media room, we worked with Olston Systems of Dallas and created this kind of magical space. So they incorporated so much great technology into this media room, and it has this beautiful ceiling that gives the illusion of stars. So one thing that we wanted for this room is to it really feel like an extension aesthetically of the rest of the house. David Hicks pattern carpet that was from Stark, and really felt like that it set off the other kind of dark black accents. Using like a really bold carpet and something that's really strong and iconic is a great way to start, to layer a lot of like solids and sort of functional pieces on top of it. So we're really always cognizant of making bold choices. So for the primary bedroom, one of our jumping off points here was this beautiful smoke wallpaper from Trove. And so that was sort of the first inspiration that we pulled from. And then we did these really, really interesting bedside tables and had those done custom. Based on the scale of the space, we just needed something that was really overscaled. Lots of texture and layering going on here. Beautiful metaphors, fabric, like a heavy, rich wool textured carpeting. And then that really is a great backdrop for some of the contemporary art pieces. Blue and white porcelain that we actually had brought over from a previous property that we had done together. With the volume of space and these big, beautiful windows looking right out in the pool, it's just sort of a magical moment and just feels really, really wonderful. And the way it's tucked around in the corner of the house, it really kind of creates this like great private oasis. For the primary bathroom in this house, we really wanted something that was a really special moment. So in looking for tile, we resourced this beautiful cube mosaic from Ann Sachs that's built up of a collection of Katia marble. It really is this sort of like beautiful, unexpected moment. And we decided to take the material all the way through into the shower, on the back accent wall of the shower, up on the ceiling of the shower. And I think that's what really kind of makes this sort of this dramatic moment in setting an accent marble into the backsplash, just to kind of play off that mixture of materials and play off the floor. We also had this tub done by Victoria and Albert. And so it also kind of played into our black and white tile and the tension between those two materials. What I like about this particular project is we have contemporary moments, clean moments, we have textural moments. It's not really overly slated in any particular design direction, so it feels natural and very easy with a bit of evolution.
Clients describe our work as unique. We try really hard to make sure every home looks different from the previous home. With Kara Adam Interiors, you're always going to see pattern, plays off texture. When we accessorize, we tend to under-accessorize and use overscaled items. We love to play with scale. We think it adds interest to an interior, but we do like to simplify our accessories, and we love good art. My name is Kara Adam with Kara Adam Interiors. I'm the principal and founder of Kara Adam Interiors. We are based in Dallas, Texas. We do projects all over the United States. Today we're in Dallas, Texas. We are in a project that we worked on from the ground up. They're a family with 3 small children, 2 big dogs, and they didn't want anything too intimidating. We added unique, sometimes contemporary little pieces and kind of pushed the envelope, which I think adds the interest. This house was specifically designed to entertain. When you come in, you can feel the flow. It's a very large foyer that bleeds into a great room in the back. For the entry, we wanted something larger. We wanted a large space. When people came in, we didn't want it to feel cramped, but we also wanted there to be a cozy side. And so by adding the paneling to the walls, we were able to warm up this foyer. We wanted a marble floor. We went back and forth on what to do here. We ended up with a charcoal and white marble mix. We wanted there to be a little seating moment. And actually people do sit on this little settee that we had custom made for the space during parties. Lastly, we definitely wanted to highlight the art collection to the second level, and we have art pieces up there as well. The staircase is one of my favorite elements in the house. We wanted to mix brass and bronze. It gives a little bit of a contemporary touch, and then we added this custom Stark runner, probably one of our favorite runners we've ever done. So the client wanted a really traditional feel for this house. We have matching arches on both sides of the foyer, one going to the formal living room and one going to the dining room. We love, love, love molding, we love paneling. It's a great way to add layers to a home so it feels like it's been there longer, it's not so new. We mocked up tons of molding samples before we came up with what we ended up doing. We did a plaster ceiling and then added additional molding and have our can lights within the molding. And then once you come into the dining room, you see this beautiful Fromental wallpaper, and everything looks fabulous when you put it on this wall. Like, all the art looks great, and it really complements everything in the room. We worked with the architect and designed a completely custom mantle here, which I think could not look any better in this space. And it balances the scales just right. One unique feature of this room is this was their original sideboard. We have very few original pieces from their first house before this house, but this is one of them, and I think it's really fun to incorporate pieces that clients owned before in their new homes. This is the living room. It's balanced off the dining room on the other side of the foyer. And what's so unique about the living room is they wanted spaces that they could enjoy if it was just she and her husband sitting in here, or if it was a larger group. So we've designed 2 seating areas, one on this side and one also facing the fireplace. They are connected by a double sofa. The sofa is just one big sofa that we had custom designed. And then we had to do custom designed side tables with brass edging that are a little bit longer and deeper, so they're the depth almost of 2 sofas. In this room, we took the same plaster that we have in the dining room ceiling, and we did all the walls in that plaster. Again, the same fireplace you see in the dining room. Again, this is all balancing out a house that has that traditional feel, and when you do traditional homes, you see a lot of balance like this. People come into our homes and they're like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like that. We try really hard to give each person a look that is conducive to what they're asking for, but also unique and kind of pushes the envelope a little. As you walk through this house, you can tell that art plays a very big role in all the interior spaces. And with all of our projects, we like to bring an art consultant to the table. And it really doesn't matter what your budget is, we just want you to buy wisely. And we never design spaces specifically for a piece of art. I truly believe all art is always in flux. Welcome to the first floor bar. This bar has everything. It's the perfect recipe for a fun evening. It's darker, so it's cozier. It has a growing vault ceiling, some depth to it, and you can see the variation in the gray and the plaster in the ceiling. This is the bar that I found inspiration in Amsterdam for. And you can see everything has been custom cut for this bar. It's all reeded with this beautiful texture. We added a Waterworks custom cut backsplash. We have a wine fridge, we have drink refrigerators. So it is ready for the ultimate party. Everything has that kind of different, unique feel. We've got this iCat, which is a little unexpected. It's a little bolder than some of the other colors you see in the house. My rule of thumb is for powder baths, more, more, more. You can never have enough layers. This is an Elegance wallpaper. It is actually a fabric, and the fabric is a pleated fabric, so it has a texture. Antique Venetian light fixture, an antique mirror. Then we have a custom cut marble floor. As we go into the great room, this is the back half of the house, right off the bar. And one of my favorite features that the architect came up with is to have these little inglenook spaces, which is something you see typically in English Tudors. It is so cool, draws attention during parties. We have a massive space for you to sit in, but then On the other side of this space, we've created a more intimate seating arrangement with 4 chairs and a large ottoman. And all of this feeds into our kitchen back here. This kitchen is obviously a white kitchen with beautiful white marble countertops. This is all a custom cut, water jet cut backsplash. And then in this kitchen, we have multiple dishwashers because of the fact that this client loves to entertain. We have one on each side of the sink. We have all Sub-Zero products, 2 sinks. This sink's ideal because it's right behind your stove should you need it for anything. I love a white kitchen because it's a color that's never gonna go out of style, it's not gonna be trendy, and it's always gonna look clean and fresh. When you have a large kitchen, everything is bigger. We have bigger bar stools, we have a much larger light fixture. We are able to hand select all of our finishes. We were also able to scale the fixture to be the exact size we wanted for this space. The kitchen opens up to their morning room. This is where the family spends the majority of their time. They eat most of their meals as a family right here at this table. In the mornings or in the afternoons, you can always find them sitting in these chairs, hanging out, catching up. The catering kitchen was one of our favorite places to design. We worked with their personal caterer, and they gave us a list of the equipment that they needed to throw the ideal party. And then we took it to the next level. We still wanted it to be a beautiful space, so we designed these custom brass shelves, and we did waterworks tile on the back, and it covers all the walls in the entire space. So we joke that they can, throw spaghetti sauce on the walls and we're not worried about it. Additionally, when we were working with the caterer, we went to different commercial kitchen supplies, and we picked out all of the dishes and the serving trays and everything, so nothing is ever served on anything that we haven't selected for any party in this house. In here we have a ton of refrigeration. We also have this really cool feature, and it has trays just stacked. With these trays are used when they're making small past hors d'oeuvres, and they keep them all in here, and then they open them up and they set them on some of whichever tray they're using that night to serve them for parties. You will notice there's no dishwasher or anything for cleaning in here. All of that is housed in the garage, so we keep all of the dirty during a party outside of the house. We call this area the basement bar. As you can see, it's a lot more than just a bar. We have a seating area with a large TV to watch sports. We have a table for games. And lastly, we have a very large walk-in wine cellar right here. The leather you see on these chairs here is extremely unique and very reminiscent of a Bottega bag. It's all hand woven. The ceiling has, again, the growing vault, and all the walls are the Venetian plaster in here as well. We recently wallpapered the entire area in this gorgeous Philip Jeffries grass cloth. Honestly, it really cozies up this space. This is a very large space, as you can see, and it adds just one more layer of texture down here. One thing we're getting more requests for are golf simulator rooms. They're super fun, they're interactive for a family or for friends. In this particular one, we have a Brent Wadden. We've also put plexiglass in front of it in case your golf club goes the wrong direction. We did custom marble high tops in here in case someone wants a front row seat to the latest golf game. The best part about a golf simulator room is you can do it in heels. The exterior is truly an extension of the home. The kids can run out of the pool house and jump in the pool. For the outdoor furniture, we have used all Janus at Sea. We've got chaise lounges, we've got an awesome fire pit with multiple chairs around it. We have 2 seating areas on either side here, as well as a seating area by the putting green. The pool house has huge sliding doors that we open on a regular basis, and it allows parties to flow inside and outside. There's a shuffleboard table in there for the kids. A lot of times the adults play on it too. We have a big storage closet in there, which has actually been very helpful. That's where we keep a lot of the pool toys so that they're not always out and about. And a wonderful kitchen bar area. So when there is a big party, you can easily put a bartender behind it, and it's a great space. We did add a small seating area right off the kitchen for the family primarily to use. There's a grill and they can all hang out as a family here. This was a sport court, and their son, who is now in first grade, absolutely adores basketball as well. So this is kind of their little play area. The covered patio presented some challenges. This is an extremely large space, but we wanted dining areas. So what we did is we created 2 dining tables, one for when it's just the family, and a second one for when they have guests over as well. The end result for us was we created a very cozy, comfortable family home in a very large space. When people come, they always say, oh, it's just so comfortable and enjoyable and not too fancy that you don't want to sit down and have a glass of wine and catch up with someone.
My work is very edited. It's kind of timeless, classic, something that will stand the test of time. We just are very mindful of people's own style, so we try to incorporate that into the work that we do. We like to layer with textures and things that really make a room feel good. We're different than most firms just because we have a good structure and organization process of dealing with contractors, builders. We're very collaborative. We try to be very communicative of how things in the process works and make our clients' lives easier by helping them make good decisions. I'm Melanie Milner. I'm the founding principal of the Design Atelier here in Atlanta, Georgia. Today we are in a condo building right on Peachtree Road in Atlanta, Georgia. The location of this building is in the heart of Buckhead. It's one of the only co-op buildings in the city of Atlanta. This project is a renovation that took place back in 2019. And so it was a completely gutted renovation, and we worked with Harrison Design and John Burnson on the renovation. They also entertain a lot. They wanted to be able to have enough seating for everybody. And there was a lot of discussions of how these spaces would be used and furniture placement. This project had a lot of great opportunities as far as giving a casual elegance is what the clients wanted. Welcome to the entrance of this Atlanta pied-à-terre. We used Benjamin Moore White Dove as the canvas and to complement the black and white marble floor. Our go-to paint, white paint, is White Dove. So we use it almost in every project. It has a sense of warmth without being too white or too yellow. It's just kind of a perfect mix of a white paint and a neutral. Got this punch of red with these French posters and an elegance that really does highlight the client's personality and the way they want to introduce their home to their guests. This piece here is an antique piece that we found at Roebuck Antiques. It's beautiful. We really did want to find a special commode that we could have at front and center of the foyer. So this was something that we found, went shopping with the clients, and they love it. It's perfect. It really just ties in the marble with the floor, and this beautiful mirror really does reflect light and open the space even more. This is the den. This room is painted Sussex green, another Benjamin Moore color. It's a great neutral, so to speak, because it does change throughout the day as the light hits it. A little bit of color, but not too much. And then we have this punch of red on the floor that the clients really wanted. So I think the way the fabrics and the color and the textures in this room really do make it feel cozy and warm and more casual, so where you can feel like you can put your feet up on the coffee table and watch a movie. We found this beautiful rug, and they wanted to use it in a way that we didn't have just a neutral or white room. This green came through from choosing this rug. So if you look closely, there is shades of green, and they did not want it to look like Christmas. They were a little worried about that. And just this tonal qualities of the Sussex green, it really did complement the rug and the neutrals of the sofa. This was a custom sofa, and the fabric that we chose does have a little bit of the green in it, but it's just how you really play things up, but nothing overpowers each other. They all complement each other. For anyone wanting to make decisions on color, it's so important to see it and sample it and see it in different times of day. For instance, this room looks different and feels different at night than it does during the daylight hours. It is very important to live with your samples, see how the light bounces off them and reflects them. That's definitely something you'd want to do before making decisions. This bar was specifically designed to create that New York vibe where you come home from a day's work and pour yourself a cocktail. There's amenities like refrigerator drawers, ice maker, storage for liquor, and these tall cabinets hold all sorts of accoutrements. This is the kitchen. We wanted this space to be a more compressed space, not necessarily drawing your attention, but still maintaining a beautiful, well-detailed room that wasn't necessarily a kitchen. So we used a lot of these walnut wood tones. We brought the walnut into the hood with brass to make it feel like it's a sophisticated and warm room. We used metal screens on the doors again to highlight beautiful detailing, and we also incorporated walnut into the beautiful hardware with the brass and again with the faucets. So this is a very functional space. There's great storage. There's these beautiful bar stools which were made by Hellman Chang that fit perfectly underneath this opening for them to have breakfast, casual dining. And we beefed up the island with a laminated edge. So we repeated the same detail, but just made it a little bit thicker on the island. This over here is a breakfast bar. So they have their coffee, tea, anything that they want to have in the mornings. They use this constantly. And if they do want to have it closed off, these doors pocket in and they can have it clean and ready for entertaining. This is the salon or the living room, and we started this color palette with the rug that we found at Moatar, and it is beautiful colors. Everything that they love is in this rug, and it was just the perfect way to pull everything together and to stem off the color scheme throughout the house. We've got this great painting that they bought in Thailand, and that was a perfect complement also to bring in the golds. They had this triangular shaped pillow that we thought was super fun, and that came from their house in Seattle. We custom designed this piece over here. That is got the marble top, and it's supported by these brackets on the sides of the piece. So we really worked with the local cabinet maker to get that designed with the metal. Over here, we have these Egon Schiele prints that were really special to the client. So we wanted to incorporate them while still maintaining a way to close off the kitchen. We designed these sliding doors that you can close off if you have a catered event and there's chefs in the kitchen. That will just still make the room pretty and then eliminate any noise and separate your guests from the activity. So this table was custom designed by Hellman Chang out of New York, but the intricacies of this base, the design of it changes as you put in leaves. So the beauty of it is the base design, and when you put another leaf in, for each segment that you use, you can have a different looking table base, which is very unique. It's an artistic approach again, and these clients really love art, and so this was a great piece for them and functional at the same time. The open concept with this home in particular, they really wanted it to have options, and that's why we designed these doors that can separate one space from another. There's these doors over here that also compartmentalize, so it doesn't have to necessarily be an open plan, but you can close these as well. And they still look good. The detail on these doors and those doors were repeated on the ceiling. That circular movement throughout the space is indicative of some things that you see in Paris. And that, again, brings that design element to be meaningful to the client. This is a custom china cabinet that's inset into the wall in this hallway. It was designed because we needed additional storage to house all this beautiful stemware and china and formal pieces. And also it's highlighted as far as on axis to the dining room. So it still feels like it's part of the dining room, but it's actually a space saver and a beautiful piece, and it's detailed and holds all of their things. There's a way to take out the china and put it here if you need to, and there's also storage for placemats and additional serveware. This is the powder room off of the hallway, and this beautiful quince wallpaper fabric from Clarence House. It helps complement everything else we're doing in the house. It's got the pop of red and the playfulness and the organic flow of the branches. Really makes you come in here and it's happy. It really just feels like a formal powder room, and it's one of my favorite wallpapers. Important things to consider when designing a home is really to focus on how fabrics and textures and colors transition from room to room. This one in particular has pops of red consistently throughout, and the colors do play off of each other and they have balance. And so in the living room, we have this bright white airy space, and then on either end we have the balance of darker tonal qualities of those paint colors. And there's a sense of an unspoken way that feels good, and that's when design comes together, when all the rooms speak to each other. This is the hallway leading to the bedroom. This is a lithograph that the clients have of May Belfort. It was definitely something that they wanted to have highlighted at the end of the hallway. It's an important piece for them, and so she sits gracefully there right into their bedroom. This is the primary bedroom, and it feels very cozy because of just the layers and the textures, but we've added Philip Jeffries wall covering to the walls, which complements, the headboard, the beautiful fabric that we chose to bring in a little bit more of a fresh celadon color, and she did want to have some pattern in here, so we brought this beautiful floral drapery fabric in, and it's a perfect complement to the wall coverings and all the textures in the space. This is an intimate sized bedroom. The clients really wanted to be encapsulated and feel cozy and just a place that they could retreat to if they did have grandchildren and children on the other side of the home. So they come in here, they read. There's a spot here that is a comfortable place to really soak in the natural light and also feel like they're in a private environment. So that was very important to them, and the comfort of just having a place as a respite and relax. The goal for this project was to have a casual elegance, a home that was pretty and comfortable and very livable. At the end of the day, through all of the decisions that were made, the feeling of home is always when you walk in that front door and you see and feel how a space speaks to you. The one thing that they did say when they came home for the first time, that we achieved the casual elegance, and that was the best compliment for us.